Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. It's been a while and I'm sorry about that. I just left because things in life were a little bit too much. I needed a minute, I needed a breather, and then more and more stuff happened and I just couldn't find my way back. But now I think I can come back. There is a lot of stuff I want to talk about. There's a lot of things I want to do, and being in front of the camera talking about movies is a big part of that. I have this new background, this new setup, and it feels amazing. So I hope you stick around for this brand new era and get excited because I'm very excited. As always, before we get into the video, make sure to follow me on the rest of my socials, my Instagram and my Twitter, where I post a lot more daily film content. Today's video is going to be a top 10 essential horror movie list. Personal to me, this is films I think everybody should watch, everybody should, know of, and kind of an introductory into some of the most influential and important horrors within the genre. So counting down from 10 to 1, we have Jaws, which came out in 1975 by the director Steven Spielberg. Nothing has made you fear the water quite like Jaws did. The impact of this film continues to deliver and is nothing short of magnificent. Crashing into the box office with a huge impression, Jaws easily solidified itself an all-time classic. Based on the best-selling first novel by Peter Benchley, Jaws tells a tale of Amity Island and their nightmarish fight against a great white shark. It is, without hesitation, a film everyone should see in their lifetime. A film that stands the test of time. Coming in at number 9 now, we have 28 Days Later, which came out in 2002 and was directed by Danny Boyle. His fear began when he woke up alone. His terror began when he realised he wasn't. This tagline is for sure enough to grip any horror fan, and delivers repeatedly within the movie. 28 Days Later is about a viral outbreak that destroys the population and turns most of it into hungry, rabid killers. The survivors must try and stay alive. 28 Days Later has multiple reasons why this film is excellent. The empty location setting is just one that unsettles you deeply. The next is how the infected move and twitch, which disturbs you even more. And the camera POV shots are so fantastically done, it really keeps you visually compelled. I couldn't imagine being a woman trying to survive in these conditions, considering the acts society has succumbed to. It does well to target the trauma, the loneliness, and acting on instinct, which really deepens this story. Now at number 8, we have Aliens, which came out in 1986 and was directed by James Cameron. The xenomorph is a thing of terrifying beauty, the perfect organism, you could say. Aliens takes Ripley back to LV-426 in search of missing colonists and face-to-face with the monster that traumatized her 57 years ago. Aliens is a perfect balance of action and horror. Quotable and genuinely an excellent sequel. Alien started it all and is a masterpiece. Aliens follows suit faultlessly, making the pair an impenetrable duo in the horror universe, and therefore shaping sci-fi into what it is today. The attachment developed between Ellen and Newt is the heart of most of the story, deepening the film, exploring adjustment, trauma, and grief. A whole new playground for James Cameron to work his ambitious imagination. Now at number 7, we have The Descent, which came out in 2005 and was directed by Neil Marshall. Undoubtedly, one of the best creature reveals of all time. Once that camera moves around and you see it fully for the first time, everything changes. Claustrophobic, bloodthirsty, The Descent follows a group of females into a newly unearthed cave and sees them picked off one by monsters who can hear every breath they take. An all-female led cast was certainly the right idea. There is a lot of strength to admire in each and every single one of these girls, overcoming fear, tragedy, and believing in your survival instinct. The setting design almost makes you feel as if you're in that cave with them as well. It is very palpable, like you can feel the stench in the air, you can feel the sticky heat around you, like you're begging for air, just like they are. It's a very, very well executed movie. At number 6 now, we have The Strangers, which came out in 2008, directed by Brian Bertino. Everyone knows the line, "because you were home," delivered with a stone-cold manner and sending shivers down your spine. Who knew that 4 simple words could impact you that much? Based on a true story, The Strangers is about 3 masked individuals who terrorize and stalk a couple in a vacation home with just no reason at all. Brian Bertino created an atmosphere so dark and disturbing. The silence and shaky camera helped The Strangers creep into view with such a ghostliness you couldn't ignore. Putting them together, the film felt like it was suffocating you. The fact that this film is a very real possible nightmare makes it even more terrifying. Also, how it changes our victims into murderers is almost like it's trying to equal the playing field. It's trying to give the strangers a reason for punishing them, for terrorizing them, when in fact they really don't have a fair reason at all. Nothing will strike fear into me as much as this film does. At number 5 now, we have Night of the Living Dead, which came out in 1968 and was directed by the late George A. Romero. The ending of this film is still as big a gut punch now as it was then. Truly devastating. Night of the Living Dead is about a group of strangers who are held up in a farmhouse. As they try to fend off the undead, they also struggle in trying to find a way to still trust the living. George A. Romero paved the way for zombie horror, and Night of the Living Dead was just the start of it. A beautifully shot black and white movie that enhances its ordeal through its unpolished picture. There is nothing quite like it. And it still fascinates me how they managed to make blood out of chocolate. How? Coming in at number 4 now, we have The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which was directed by Tobe Hooper and came out in 1974. Tobe got the idea for this film whilst he was out Christmas shopping. What a weird guy. Texas Chainsaw Massacre takes place in Texas, following a brother and sister who are on a road trip with their friends and unfortunately become targeted by a family of cannibals. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre was so big in the 70s. It caused such an outrage and was eventually banned in the UK. It also created a rift with some directors and their dietary requirements. You know, it is a film that influenced and inspired the films we have today. Halloween, Alien, The Hills of Eyes, The Devil's Rejects. It is a monumental staple in the horror genre, and so happens to celebrate its 50th anniversary this year. Coming in at number 3 now, we have The Exorcist, 1973, which was directed by the late William Friedkin. Techniques such as hitting your actors and or inflicting pain to get the shot you want would not go down so well these days, but I guess things were different back then. The Exorcist is a possession horror where little girl Regan becomes possessed with the devil, leaving her mother hopeless and desperately seeking out any help she can get in order to save her daughter's soul. The Exorcist is a powerful film based off true events, challenging family, innocence, faith, and presents a manifestation of evil so heinously. Some even say that this film was cursed, as Linda Blair fractured her spine on set and received multiple death threats. There was also one of the radiologists within the movie. 7 years later, they were convicted of murder. We are down to the last 2 now, guys, and in second place we have Halloween, which came out in 1978 and was directed by John Carpenter. Halloween is timeless. A unique mask put together with its haunting score created the ultimate Halloween movie, which later on became one of the most successful independent horror films of all time. 6-year-old Michael Myers kills his sister on Halloween night. After spending 15 years in a mental institution, he finally escapes and begins a killing spree. John Carpenter created evil personified. Michael Myers is one of the greatest iconic villains. After messing around with some masks, they eventually settled on one where they spray painted it bluish with brown hair to create this emotionless look. They absolutely nailed it. With Jamie Lee Curtis's debut, she is the idolized final girl, and her fight with Michael is historical. Together, the 3 of them are the Holy Grail. They are the Holy Trinity, and Halloween will always be the best Halloween film ever. We are now at number 1, guys, and of course, it's Scream 1996, directed by Wes Craven. Yeah, I might be biased, but the best slasher of all time? Yeah. Scream has a serial killer who loves scary movies. Trivia is his ruse and a knife is his weapon. Sidney Prescott must try and find out who's behind the mask before he gets to her first. Wes Craven revitalized the slasher genre with Scream. I'm so thankful for that kid who bullied him into making this film, or else I wouldn't have my favourite film of all time. The cast in this film is what makes this film stand out as well. You have a final girl that defies all tropes. You have the cool best friend, the lovesick puppy. You have the funny guy, the nerd guy. You have the bitch. And you have this guy who has killer written all over his face, but you look past it because he's so beautiful. If you can name every character by those descriptions, you're cool. Scream is consistent, it's fun, it's fresh, it's just hard meta, and there's nothing quite like it, and I don't think any film will top the opening scene and the middle scene and the final act ever. It's just a film I wish I could rewatch from the start, knowing nothing about it, you know? I wish I could rewatch it, watch it for the first time again, because it's just so beautiful and perfect, and a very big essential horror film for me. Something that really got me into horror, and I'm so thankful for that. There we have it, guys, my top 10 essential horror films. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and comment maybe some of your essential horror films down below. Again, make sure to follow me as well on my Instagram and my Twitter, where I post daily horror content. Until my next video, guys, stay safe, stay happy, and stay healthy. Bye.